For as long as we've looked up at the night sky, the moon has been our constant companion. It's been a deity, a muse for poets, a destination for explorers, and a silent witness to our entire history. We've charted its craters, walked upon its surface, and dreamed of one day calling it a second home. But amidst all this cosmic familiarity, a deceptively simple question remains, one that tickles the very edges of our geographical and astronomical knowledge. If you could stand on the one spot on Earth that is, at any given moment, the absolute closest to the moon, which country would you be in? Now, your first instinct might be to pull out a globe and point to the equator. And that's a brilliant starting point. It's based on a solid piece of science. Our planet isn't a perfect sphere, it's what scientists call an oblate spheroid. Thanks to the centrifugal force of its rotation, the Earth bulges at its middle. This equatorial bulge means that any point along the equator is, on average, about 21 kilometers or 13 miles further from the Earth's center than the poles are. So, logically, a country sitting right on this bulge should have a significant head start in the race to the moon. It seems like an open and shut case for countries like Ecuador, Kenya, or Indonesia. Then there's the other popular candidate, a place that embodies the very idea of reaching for the sky, Mount Everest. Standing at a staggering 8,849 meters, or over 29,000 feet, above sea level, its peak is the highest point on our planet's surface. It's the closest we can get to the stars with our feet still planted, metaphorically, on the ground. Surely standing atop the roof of the world in Nepal would give you an undeniable advantage in this cosmic competition. Both of these answers are incredibly logical. They're rooted in sound geographical principles. And yet both of them are wrong. The actual answer is far more nuanced and fascinating. A beautiful intersection of planetary physics, celestial mechanics, and a little-known quirk of our planet's shape. The truth isn't just surprising. It challenges our fundamental assumptions about the world we live on. To find the real answer, we need to become detectives. We can't just look at a static map. We have to consider a planet that is spinning, wobbling, and bulging. We also have to account for a moon that is constantly moving in its own elliptical orbit, swinging closer and then farther away from us in a monthly rhythm. Its closest point, the perigee, and its farthest point, the apogee, create a moving target. So the question becomes even more complex. Are we looking for the closest point on average, or the closest possible point at the most opportune moment? Today, we're embarking on a journey to solve this cosmic puzzle. We'll peel back the layers of geography, astronomy, and physics to uncover the one true location on Earth that holds the title of being closest to the moon. Get ready, because the destination is somewhere you'd never expect. When we think of the highest point on Earth, one name immediately comes to mind: Mount Everest. Towering over the Himalayas, its peak reaches a staggering 8,848.86 meters, or 29,032 feet, into the sky. This incredible height is measured from a specific, standardized baseline, mean sea level, which is the average level for the surface of Earth's oceans. For generations, this has made Everest the undisputed king of mountains, the ultimate symbol of human achievement and the literal roof of the world. It represents the pinnacle of our planet's topography. So it's only natural to make a logical leap. If you're standing on the highest point on Earth, surely you must be closer to the cosmos than anywhere else, right? It feels intuitive, almost like a universal truth. If your goal was to get just a tiny bit closer to the moon or the distant stars, climbing to the summit of Everest seems like the most direct and logical way to do it. For many, this isn't just an assumption, it's a given. But what if I told you that this seemingly obvious fact is actually a fascinating geographical misconception? The secret to unraveling this puzzle lies not with the mountain itself, but with the very shape of our planet. And here's the twist that changes everything you thought you knew about being on top of the world. The Earth isn't a perfect sphere. While it may look like a flawless blue marble from the vantage point of space, our planet is technically what scientists call an oblate spheroid. In simpler terms, it's slightly squashed. This unique shape is a direct consequence of our planet's daily rotation. As the Earth spins on its axis once every 24 hours, a powerful centrifugal force is generated. This force acts outwards, perpendicular to the axis of rotation, and it's at its most powerful along the equator. Think of what happens when you spin a water balloon or a ball of fresh pizza dough in your hands. You'll see it start to flatten at the top and bottom while bulging out around its middle. The exact same principle applies to our planet, just on an unimaginably massive scale. This equatorial bulge isn't just a minor imperfection, it's a significant feature of Earth's geometry. The Earth's diameter at the equator is about 12,756 kilometers, but its diameter from the North Pole to the South Pole is roughly 12,714 kilometers. That's a difference of about 42 kilometers, meaning the surface at the equator is approximately 21 kilometers farther from the center of the Earth than the surface at the poles. Because of this bulge, any location situated near the equator gets a substantial boost in its distance from the Earth's core. These places are literally sticking farther out into space, giving them a cosmic advantage. This means that even a mountain with a lower altitude above sea level, if it's positioned on this equatorial bulge, can actually be taller in a cosmic sense, reaching further from the center of the Earth than the mighty peak of Everest. Earth is slightly squished at the poles and bulged at the equator. This means the radius from the Earth's center to the equator is larger than to the poles. So even though Everest is taller, certain equatorial mountains are technically closer to the moon. When you think of the world's highest mountain, one name immediately comes to mind: Mount Everest. For decades, it has held the undisputed title, a symbol of ultimate achievement for climbers and adventurers. But what if I told you that the title of highest is a matter of perspective? What if the point on Earth that truly reaches closest to the stars isn't in the Himalayas at all? To find it, we must travel to South America, to the heart of Ecuador. Here, we meet Mount Chimborazo, a majestic ice-capped stratovolcano. While it may not be as famous as Everest, it holds a unique geographical secret that challenges our very definition of highest. Let's be clear. When we measure height in the traditional way from sea level, Everest is the undeniable champion. It towers at a staggering 8,849 meters. In comparison, Chimborazo's summit is 6,263 meters above sea level. That's more than 2,500 meters shorter. So if you were a mountaineer looking to climb the tallest mountain based on this standard, your journey would take you to Nepal. This measurement is what we've used for centuries, a practical system that gives us a common baseline. But our planet isn't a simple, uniform sphere. Here's where the story takes a fascinating turn. The Earth is not a perfect sphere. Because of its constant rotation, it bulges at the equator and flattens at the poles. Think of spinning a water balloon or a ball of pizza dough. The centrifugal force pushes the middle outwards. This phenomenon is called the equatorial bulge. Our planet is technically an oblate spheroid, and this bulge means that the Earth's diameter is about 43 kilometers, or 27 miles, wider at the equator than it is from pole to pole. And Mount Chimborazo's secret weapon is its location. It sits just 1 degree south of the equator, placing it squarely on top of this planetary bulge. This unique position gives it a massive natural advantage, a cosmic boost that mountains elsewhere simply don't have. So if we change our measurement from height above sea level to distance from the Earth's core, the entire leaderboard is rewritten. When measured from the planet's center, Chimborazo's peak is 6,384, 4 kilometers away. Mount Everest, despite its greater altitude, is located at a latitude of 28 degrees north, where the Earth's radius is smaller. Its peak is only 6,382.3 kilometers from the center. This means Chimborazo's summit is over 2,000 meters, or about 1.3 miles, farther from the Earth's center than Everest's peak. By this metric, Chimborazo is the true highest point on our planet. This makes the summit of Chimborazo the closest point on the Earth's surface to the stars, the moon, and the vastness of outer space. This unique status isn't just a trivia fact, it has a rich history. For centuries, long before its geographical significance was understood, Chimborazo was revered by indigenous Andean cultures as a sacred apu, or mountain spirit. Later, in 1802, the The great Prussian naturalist Alexander von Humboldt attempted to climb it. He and his team reached an altitude of about 5,875 meters, a world record at the time. Though forced back by altitude sickness, his expedition gathered invaluable data on the relationship between altitude and vegetation, laying the groundwork for the field of physical geography. It wasn't until 1880 that the summit was finally conquered by the English mountaineer Edward Whymper, the same man famous for first ascending the Matterhorn. Even today, the mountain is a source of life. For generations, hileros or ice merchants have made the arduous journey up its slopes to mine glacial ice, which is then sold in local markets, a tradition that is slowly fading. The mountain is also home to a fragile ecosystem, including the vicuna, a relative of the llama, which was reintroduced to the area and now thrives on its high plains. So while Everest may win the prize for fame and for height above the sea, Chimborazo holds a more profound cosmic title. It is a testament to the wonders of our planet's geometry, and a reminder that sometimes, to find the truth, you just need to change your perspective. And because of this magnificent peak, the small nation of Ecuador can proudly claim to be the country on Earth that is closest to the moon. Ecuador lies directly on the equator. The Equatorial Bulge adds approximately 21 km extra distance compared to poles. Chimborazo's position on this bulge pushes it farther out than Everest. This makes Ecuador the scientific answer to our mystery. Astronauts say you feel slightly lighter near the equator due to centrifugal force. Ecuador markets Chimborazo as the closest point to the sun and moon. Even without climbing, Ecuador is home to incredible landscapes: the Amazon, Andes, and Galapagos Islands. So next time someone says Everest is the closest point to the moon, you'll know the surprising truth. It's not Nepal, but Ecuador that holds this title. Fascinating, right? If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your curious friends.